I want to talk about patterns. So whenever I use pens, I like to try out what they do, which is what I have right here, these little samples. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these out and show you exactly what I did. So I was thinking this is a brush nib. You can use it this way, straight on, but you can also use the side of it, okay? And this becomes a reference for me so that I know exactly what I'm doing. And I like to do that with every single size of the pen so that I can sort of see what the possibilities are. That helps me out a lot. So once I have my possibilities, then I can think about what I want to do. And if you come here and look at my finished sample, you'll see that what I did is I created all these black and white patterns, taking advantage of the different sizes of the tip widths that are all through this pocket page. So I'm going to show you how easy all of these patterns are to do. So the first thing is I have some smooth cardstock, and it's all cut to 3x4, which is the size I'm working with. Of course, you can make it any size that you want. If you're making a card or anything else, it doesn't necessarily have to be for pocket pages. So for our very first pattern, I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. I'm going to take the biggest brush size that I have because I'm going to make some really huge circles. And again, I'm not worried if they're totally circular. I'm coloring with the side of it, which really makes it easy to fill that space super duper fast. And of course, I do like to go off the edge because that's what really makes it look like a pattern that somehow continues that you've cut from something larger. So I think that's a really important tip. Now, if you look at the little finished one I have here, I have all my circles done in. So then the next thing that I did is I took the small size of my marker and I went ahead and I added not a full circle, but kind of a half circle with some little stripes in it like so. Now, if I go past the line, I don't care. If I go not up to the line, I don't care. I am just having a good time doodling around and making it happen, okay? So now once that's done, I'm gonna have something that looks a little bit like this. And this is where I went into doodle insanity. So what I did is around each of these circles, I added a tiny little dash line, just like so. Dash, 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 right? And I kept going so that I had layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of these dash lines going around every single one of these circles. Are they spaced evenly? No. Are they the same length? No, because they're handmade and they're awesome. And you can see here right on my finished sample, that's what the finished card looks like. Super cool. But there's so many more designs to do, so let me show you the next design. So what I did is I went ahead, and again, I'm taking advantage of the different tip sizes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a stripe, a fat stripe with the side, and another fat stripe with the side. And am I measuring? Am I worrying about if it's straight? No, I'm just thinking about going off the edges. I think that is really the most important thing, is you want to make sure that you really hit those edges. Then to contrast, I'm going to take the thinnest one, and I'm going to go ahead and go on either side here of that, just like this, with a nice light touch. Boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 boom. This reminds me of maybe a circus tent or something like that. I think if you did it, you know, you can get a lot of different looks just by playing with the simple tip width. And then you can see on my finished sample, if you look right here, there it is. It's a great and easy way to create some pattern and visual texture. So let's move on to another design. So sometimes the greatest thing you can do is just simply to repeat a shape over and over. So for instance, if I take a triangle, just like this. And notice, by the way, part of my triangle is thick and part of it is thin because I'm taking advantage of that brush tip to create that thin and thick line. Now, why would I want to do that instead of having a round nib where everything is uniform? Because it's more interesting. Because again, it creates a lot of visual interest and texture. And again, notice how I'm making sure to go off the edge. I'm making sure that I am not keeping things totally consistent and machine made. If it could be made by a machine, it wouldn't be yours. And once I have filled this entire card with some fabulous triangles of different shapes and sizes, what you can see if you look at my finished piece here is there is what it looks like. Totally cool, right? Now, right next to us is this thing that sort of reminds me of, I don't know, DNA strands or something like that. Now, that one is super easy to do, and it's a pattern that I love. So again, I'm gonna go with my big tip, and then I think we can all do this. There you go, boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 just a little circle. Not a circle, a little curve. And then I'm just gonna add the other side of that curve. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue to repeat that, varying it so it's not identical every single time, although that's pretty close. Let's try to do a better job at varying it. And that's the fun thing about these cards is they're so easy. You can do this in front of the TV, on a road trip, you can do it with your kids. It doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be perfect. But remember, it's all into the details. So now the thing that really makes this card pop is I'm just going to go ahead and draw some lines that connect these DNA strands to each other, just like this, okay? And again, just like with the triangles or anything else, when you do a lot of something, it really looks fantastic. So I'm not even worrying whether this line matches that line. I don't care. I'm just having fun. It's a good time. I'm enjoying myself. And when I'm finished, you can see how cool that card looks with all the extra detail. So let's keep moving because now we have this really cool, I would say sort of Matisse inspired look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a very simple shape. It's kind of like, I don't know, a claw or maybe the letter E. But again, it's the same theory as the triangles, which is I'm just drawing that shape over and over, being sure to go over the edge in different sizes and stuff like that. Now I have 3 little points on all of these, but there's absolutely no reason that you couldn't do 4 like so. Then I simply took my big marker and I just colored in the background. And simply by coloring in the background, it changes the entire look. Now you could do a triangle card, for instance, where you colored in the triangles, and then one where you colored in the background. There are a lot of different options open to you, and we haven't even talked about color. We're just using all black and white, and I think that that is so cool. Okay, and then if you look back here, you can see, look how cool that design is with lots and lots of different options. So for our last design, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with my smallest marker, which I rarely do. And I'm going to draw a line and a bump, and a line and a bump, and a line and a bump. And then on the other side, I'm going to basically draw symmetry. I draw the line and the bump and the line and the bump, and it creates this cool pod shape. So now when that's done, it looks a little bit like this. Now remember, here we drew with the fat marker and then with the thin marker, so we're doing the opposite. We're going to draw with the thin marker, which we just did, and now we're going to add, not the totally fat, but maybe the medium one on the side again, and we're going to create some dash lines, but this time we're not going to touch the edges. It's tiny little variations like this that make things really, really interesting, okay? And now you can see what the finished card looks like right here at the bottom of my pocket page. It's a really cool, vibrant look. Now right next to it, you may notice that I have a printout. What I did is I did all that work, right? So I wanted to go ahead and sketch, I wanted to scan it into my computer and print it out so I can reuse these over and over again, okay? And don't forget about color, because here you go, a bunch of patterns in color, and here's what it looks like. You can see how much color changes everything, but again, we're keeping all our doodles really, really simple.